Hi, welcome to Solid Code Academy. This is Shandor. Today I'm going to be talking about software development. So how does software development work? First of all, we have an idea that we would like to implement, and usually we work in teams. We discuss these ideas and clarify the exact behavior of the software. We call these requirements. After understanding the requirements, we also make a list of tasks that should be performed by the team to make sure that we are building a working software. We use task management tools to follow up on the progress of our work. Once we know what to do, we can start working, meaning writing some text using a programming language and creating our source code. We save our code or source code in a source control system. This is used to follow up on the changes and being able to find some problems or track down why they happened. This is also called version control. As soon as we have the source code, we can build our software. We use special tools for this depending on what type of development we are doing, and then we can release our software, usually first only internally, so we can test the requirements, make sure that everything works as we planned them. If something doesn't work, if there are problems within the software, we call them bug or bugs. Unfortunately, this is very often that we have bugs. When we discover problems, then we need to fix them. So it goes back to the developer, and source code needs to be modified, changed, saved, and the new version of the software to be built and released as well. Then we keep modifying and testing and fixing bugs until we are relatively happy, and then we allow our end users to access it and use it. And what tools are needed for a software developer to be able to do his or her job? Here are a few examples of task management tools that we can use to manage the tasks within the team. These are essential to follow up on the progress, see where we are, what are the problems, and track our software development process. Here we have a few examples of IDEs or integrated development environments. This is a software that a developer would spend most of his or her time using. This is where we write code, modify code, save it, interact with source control, version control, and sometimes even report the progress of our tasks, and they can also contain several different productivity features. And finally, these are examples of source control systems, sometimes also called version control. And this is where developers would save their code, and this is where we can go back and get it if we lose it from our computer, and compare the different versions to see what has changed and why something doesn't work. So let's summarize what we learned today. What are requirements? Requirements are a list of behaviors that we would like our software to do or be able to perform. Source code is the text that the developers are typing into a tool using a programming language. So this will be the source code, and this will be the input for us to build software. Once the source code is ready, we save it in a source control. We saw examples of different tools for source control and versioning to have a good history of what has changed in our software. We also looked at what the build is, what developers mean by a build. It is a process to use our source code and turn it into a version of our software that can be executed by a computer. Testing is checking whether our software behaves as we wanted it to behave. Bugs are the actual problems that a software contains. Release is the process of sharing our working software with users, either internally only or externally. IDE stands for Integrated Development Environment. This is a tool for developers to write code, modify code, save it, version it. Often it provides some task management related features as well, and several other productivity related solutions. Next time you will find out what is DevOps all about.